Hey everybody, Dave Neal here, stand-up comedian and host of Bachelorette Recap, a Guy's Review. Just got some breaking news about Luke P. Luke P was a contestant on Hannah Brown's season, and he just lost a lawsuit to the producers of The Bachelor for $100,000 plus $20,000 in court fees he's going to have to pay. So let's talk about it. Now, I spent the day trying to prep for tonight's Bachelorette premiere, going to do my recaps after and all that. But when you get this kind of news, I'm living in a pandemic. I got nowhere to be. Stand-up comedy's on hold. I got nothing going on with my life. Now all of a sudden I'm a celebrity blogger. I didn't want this life. I have a business degree. What am I doing? All right, so here we go. Let's take a look at this. They call him the Bachelorette villain. Now, I've always been tough on Luke P in the past because I don't line up with a lot of his ideologies, but apparently what happened was he was basically portrayed, whether it was his intention or not, he was portrayed as being a sort of slut shamer because he wanted to only have sex if it was leading to marriage, and he didn't like the idea of Hannah Brown having sex. We'll watch the clip, but first of all, before we watch the clip, we got it was just reported that Bachelorette villain ordered to pay producers $120,000. Boy, he was hated. The more he tried to explain himself, the more ladies were like, not in 2020 or 2018 or whatever year it was. He wasn't having it. TMZ reported Bachelorette reject. Boy, they really like to be careful with their words. Bachelorette reject Luke P. Show unfairly made me look like I slut-shamed Hannah B. So he's claiming that he didn't slut-shame her, and apparently you're not allowed to defend yourself anymore because you signed these airtight contracts. It's reported, damn, guess the Bachelor and Bachelorette take their contestant contracts even more seriously than anyone thought, because Luke Parker, a.k.a. the villain from Hannah Brown's season, has reportedly been ordered to pay the network $100,000. $1 million! Do you get that reference? Entertainment Tonight reports that NZK Productions, Inc., the company behind The Bachelorette, filed a petition against Luke in May after he allegedly violated their contract, which forbid him from unauthorized media appearances until 1 year after The Bachelorette's final episode was broadcast. So basically, he could have slandered the show after a year, I guess. And by slander, I mean just, freedom of speech, really. He's basically lost his freedom of speech to talk about the show. But apparently Luke made several appearances before then, and on top of that, he, as E.T. puts it, further breached the conditions of his contract by speaking negatively about the show and its production. Bachelor, grow up. You're bathing in billions off of these people's characters. You know what I mean? I swear, if the Bachelor producers don't take that $120,000 and donate it to like victims of domestic violence, I mean, that's if this is the game that's going to be played, if they're going to play this game with Luke P., that money better be donated to a charity. Right, guys? Leave a comment. Let me know. That sounds like a good idea. To put your money where your mouth is. Further breaching the contract, blah, blah. The details are a little complicated, but basically a judge ordered NZK Productions damages to the tune of $100,000, which it sounds like Luke will have to fork over. Well, better go to church and pass out the charitable donations for you, Luke P. Look, I'm actually going to go ahead and take the side of Luke P on this one. So here's the deal, right? You're telling me the Bachelor franchise, in good faith or in bad faith, can decide what type of character they want you to be as a contestant. You don't get paid, they get paid, and you're kind of just like, at the end, you kind of have to just see how it went. And look, I work in Hollywood. If you don't really think that they can't manipulate a storyline, I can't side with the Bachelor franchise unless I watch the unedited version of these conversations. They have like a 6-camera edit. They kind of clip these conversations together. If I don't see somebody saying something out of their mouth in succession, like any over-the-camera shot, any of those types of things, I assume that lines are being manipulated, used from previous conversations. That's just what happens. In defense of The Bachelorette, Luke P signed a contract, so he violated the contract. And the judge, they don't really look at the morality of issues. They look at the legal, they say, hey, this is the contract. You weren't allowed to talk negatively. You did. But I think the greater question is, are we going to let companies like The Bachelor or Bachelorette live by these contracts and then they just get to decide what sort of character they're going to show the world. Look, it's one thing if you want to rip some guy's shirt and be a Hulk like Chad. That happened. We saw that happen. How you doing, Evan? You all right? You got a couple kids now. Boy, they took weird turns, right? Evan's over there with his family, and Chad's just a porn star. Hey, to each their own. USA, go vote. So it's very interesting because you're basically giving the Bachelor franchise complete control over character assassination, and you just have to, take it for a year? And in this case, Luke P was labeled a slut shamer and pretty much like canceled by society. You know what I mean? So he actually, because, and again, I'm not saying that he didn't slut shame her. I'm just saying, without seeing the full extent of the conversation, it's pretty dangerous that Bachelor controls the narrative that they can portray, and very dangerously so, to an audience of millions of people. And this is a human. And honestly, Luke P, I mean, I don't want to paraphrase what he's trying to say. I don't want to get myself under hot water, but I wouldn't be in too much of a dissimilar situation if I were him. If I had decided I don't want to marry somebody who's having sex with other people in, a yurt in the middle of Palm Springs. You know what I mean? Whatever it is. They always have some weird location. It's always like one guy gets a better location. Tyler, windmill. So I'm not totally against Luke P's idea of saying, look, if you are going to date other people, then I think we're in a different headspace and I don't want that. The problem is he goes, well, let's watch what actually happens here. This is fascinating. Let's just watch this.
Let's talk about sex.
Okay.
Let's talk about sex, baby.
Sex is an incredible thing.
Mm-hmm.
Boy, nothing gets a girl turned on a date like when you say, I've been studying Hebrews. Well, hold your beer there, Mr. Hebrew. The interesting part is that, look, you got to give him credit for having this conversation before the fantasy suite. You got to give him credit for that. And then he should be able to walk away at that point. Obviously, the producers bring him back. It's a whole issue. Okay, so we're treading on shaming her. Well, some people say they follow the Bible, but in your case, it's like, look, you should be able to have, sex with as many consensual people as you want and still be a good Christian. But Luke P also has the decision that he doesn't have to be a part of that. That's a problem. It's like you can be.
This might be a sin out of marriage. Pride is a sin too. And
Damn.
I feel like this is like a pride thing.
Look, it's not necessarily a pride thing that you don't want the relationship you're in to be having sex with other people. That's not necessarily a pride thing. So I have to sort of pull back on Hannah Brown here. But, Luke P, you signed the contract. You joined the show. This is what it leads to. Now, there could have been a scenario in which she was head over heels for Luke P, and she didn't want to have sex with other guys. But look, when you're 3 weeks into a relationship, that's not always the case. You know what I mean? Most relationships start open. Some start open, and you can date around. And then when you find the person you like, it takes root, and then you make it official. You define the relationship. DTR. Is that the whole thing? That's the whole clip. So I know there's more to it than that, but leave a comment. Let me know what you guys think. So because he defended himself within that year window when he's not allowed to talk, he got sued. Now, look, I think it's one thing, maybe the Bachelor could have said, you know what, like, we're going to sue you, but we don't want the damages. But when there's a $20,000 court bill that you have to pay along with a $100,000 fine, it's like, really, Bachelor producers, is this the game you want to play? So, now in good faith, you can just kind of like decide what you want the characters to say, and it's a lot of power given to them when these are people's lives. Luke P could just off himself over this. You know what I mean? $100,000, it's a pandemic, and this is the news you get. You just off yourself over it. And then all of a sudden it's like, wow, but he signed the contract. Well, let's revise these contracts. You know what I mean? Like we get contracts all the time, Tasha and myself, for projects. They want unlimited usage in perpetuity to put it on billboards for the rest of your life. It's like, there's a reason I'm in the Screen Actors Guild, because you get effed if you're not. So that's that. I'll leave a comment. Let me know. I'll post any updates about this scenario. But again, I'll be filming my Bachelorette recaps tonight. They'll be going up at 8 a.m. Pacific time tomorrow. So leave a comment, hit the alert button so you get a alert when that goes up. And I'd love to know what your thoughts are on all of this. Weird news, Bachelor Nation. I'm Dave Neal. Bye, guys.